The defeated army fled to the edge of the bridge. Suddenly across the bridge appeared an 8-year-old girl. With calm composure she drew a small knife from her side, and smiled as she stood in their way. To her surprise, the armored soldiers trained for battle were frozen in place, too intimidated to take another step forward. The commander looked back at the pursuing army, then turned to face the girl again, only to find a mighty lion walking toward her. With his sword raised high, the commander roared, rallying his troops, and led the charge toward the girl and the lion. The entire army followed in his wake. The lion was the girl's reinforcements. After a failed night raid, the Narnian people had suffered heavy casualties, and a shadow of despair loomed over everyone. Peter and Caspian blamed each other for the failure, their tension palpable with the air thick with hostility. Lucy intervened, stopping the argument before it escalated. Caspian, feeling defeated, walked to the mural, and wondered if calling upon the 4 young kings was a mistake. The dwarf brought 2 ugly dark creatures to Caspian, telling him about a being who was as powerful as Aslan, who could help him defeat the tyrant and reclaim his throne. With Caspian's reluctant approval, the ugly sorceress took out a mysterious staff and drove it into the ground. A cold, icy wall appeared before them. Within the wall, the image of a woman materialized. It was the White Witch, defeated by Peter and the others 1,000 years ago. She seduced Caspian into offering his blood to break the seal. Peter and the others, sensing something was wrong, rushed to his aid and saved the entranced Caspian. Edmund used his sword to pierce the wall that held the White Witch's soul. After this event, the relationship between the 2 men thawed considerably. The bad news was that the tyrant's army had crossed the bridge, and was now marching toward the city gates. In terms of numbers and weaponry, the difference was overwhelming. The Narnian forces suffered heavy losses. Peter wanted to lead everyone in retreat to the dungeon, but to their surprise the exit was blocked. Suddenly the battlefield was filled with countless tree spirits, waving their roots like weapons. The tide of battle shifted in an instant. It turned out that Lucy had found Aslan deep in the forest. Aslan in his divine form awakened the sleeping tree spirits. The tyrant's army fled to the riverbank. After a thunderous roar from Aslan, the river began to stir and the river god was awakened. The tyrant's army surrendered en masse. In the end, everyone returned to the Telmar Empire. Following the battle, Caspian ascended to the throne and peace reigned between the Narnians and the Telmarines. Aslan told Peter and his siblings that it was time for them to return.
No need to say goodbye.
The 4 walked through a tree hole and arrived at a subway station. Everything felt like it had happened in another world. It was as if they had just awoken from a brief and fantastical dream, leaving them with a deep sense of wistful longing.